Please join us in honoring the United States of America with the pledge of our national anthem. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the 2025 Stanford Open, hosted here in Palo Alto, California, and presented by SB Gymnastics. We're so happy to have you all here and are very excited for a thrilling competition between some of the nation's best gymnasts. My name is Maximilian Olinger, and I'm a Curtin student athlete at The Ohio State University, and I'm super excited to bring you some inside view into the collegiate side of men's gymnastics and all of the new rule changes in the new set of code of points. And now I'll hand it over to my co-host, Asad.
Hey Max, thanks so much, man. I'm so excited to hear your intake on these new code changes, things that are going on, especially as a current student athlete. But hey guys, my name is Asad Jooma. I'm a Cal alum, finished up back in 2020, and just excited to have everyone here today and ready to see some crazy gymnastics. So just to get started, so we're gonna see Stanford starting off on vault today. They're head coached by Tom Galimi. So Tom Galimi is actually one of the most veteran coaches in the country at the moment. Started off in 2003. He's assisted by Ruben Martinez and Carlos Ojeda and Mitchell Sokup. So excited to see Stanford take on the floor today. Moving on to Cal. Cal is head coached by JT Okada, Brian Del Castillo, and assistant coach with Carl Zine. These guys are putting up a big fight today. They're going to be putting on a show right with their big rival Stanford, and excited to see what they can do.
Absolutely. Next up on the high bar, we have Ohio State, my own team, and our head coaches are Rustam Sharapov, Casimiro Suarez, Jamie Henderson, and Drew Mulling. We have an NQS of a I believe it's 319.75, and our season high is a 319.7. So we're going to be looking to hopefully push that boundary and keep moving forward in the sport.
And so with these three teams, we also have a fun addition today. We got Team USA. A few of the Stanford guys are actually on the national team, so they're going to be in a separate rotation themselves. They're going to be coached by the Stanford head coach as well, Michael Sokup. We also have exciting seniors. So these guys are JO team members. They're competing with the NCAA guys this year. We have one round of seniors on pommel horse, and we also have another round of seniors on floor. So these guys are hailing from all over the country. Just a little shout out. A couple of them are from Tennessee, so I'm a little excited to see what they can do this year. But we're just really pumped to see these guys up and running with these NCAA team guys. So let's get started.
Yeah, absolutely. We're super pumped and excited to bring you guys some awesome commentary. Little thing about these seniors as well. I mean, these seniors are some of the best in the country to be able to come here and compete against some of these college guys for a spot at qualifying meet like Winter Cup. So we're going to definitely be seeing some big gymnastics out of them. And oftentimes they're going to be the next and upcoming gymnasts into these NCAA programs. So it's super awesome to see their early development into the sport.
To actually some of these guys that are competing right now, Max, I know one of them, Ty Rodriguez from Gym Tech. He actually just committed to Nebraska. So you got a few of these junior guys that are competing with the NCAA guys that have already committed to some of these schools. So I know that they're a little bit nervous being on the floor. So I think it'll be fun to see the energy that they bring. But we're really going to focus on the NCAA teams today. I'm really excited to see the big gymnastics that Stanford's going to put up today. And one other, I mean, I'm excited to see Ohio State with a couple of their big flying events. I know Max will get to that in a little bit. And Cal, we're just, I mean, they're my alum, man. I think they're gonna do a great job today. I'm a little bit biased here, but we'll see how things turn out.
Absolutely. We got up in our left-hand corner. We're gonna be watching the floor and vault at that angle. Our top right-hand corner, we'll be watching the horse and rings, and down in the bottom, the high bar and parallel bars. So we're very excited to guide you guys and share some insight.
So just a little background for the guys that are listening in. So these guys, they had a pre-warm up ahead of time, and then as soon as they're going through the little touch warm up at the moment, which I believe is roughly 5 minutes with the new code. Max, correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct. 5 minutes. Yep.
5 minutes, and then the competition starts, and you'll see a lot of these guys are going to be going at the same time. So there's going to be a lot of noise and a lot of energy in the arena. You can see Stanford's Burnham Pavilion is packed at the moment. We'll see if Stanford throws out some of their pizza as their signature move. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to bounce off that mention of the one touch is super crucial for gymnasts, and it's a short period of time where you get a one single touch, pretty intuitive, where you get to touch the event before you go up and salute your hand. And a lot of times that can give you that last bit of confidence that you need right before you salute the judge. And especially after you've been sitting for a little bit through the national anthem and team introduction. So it's just a really nice confidence boost that you're given. So
when you guys are all watching, check to see if these guys close their eyes right before they go on a meet. You'll typically see a lot of visualization. Oh, well, we'll see. These guys are about lining up right now, and we'll see some salutes here in a second.
Alrighty, on vault, I believe this is Taylor Burkhart. This is a big vault. Stuck it last week. Just a small hop forward this time, but a very well executed vault. Starts at a 5.0, I believe, this year. And
up on rings.
Yeah,
we got Toma up on rings, already starting off with some really big skills. We got a cross going at the moment. Do another big event, big skills he's got going on today.
Finish up on high bar from Parker Thaxton. A very great routine. Is usually in the gym, super clean, consistent. Absolutely the guy you'd love to see going first up on your event to set your team up for success the rest of the rotation.
Beautiful double from Toma, right, finishing up on rings. Also, I don't know if you guys saw in the bottom corner, you'll see big double pike from Cal off P-bars. That was fun.
So right now we've got floor going. I believe this is Asad. Do you see who's on floor right now?
Believe with the way the lineup says, it says Kai was up, but oh yeah, that's Kai because he's on Stanford USA.
Yes,
he's got the USA
correct.
Uniform right now.
Correct. Kai's actually
doing the
former,
signature scale.
Yeah, right. The scale. That's something we'll love to explain to you guys. Oh, a rough finish from Kai. Pretty good routine though, from what I saw from the beginning of it. He's actually a former teammate of mine from Lakeshore Academy, so it's always nice to see him competing. And next up on high bar, another one of my teammates, Christian Grochowski. Another big routine. Starts off with a pretty awesome and rare skill that you don't see a lot. It's called a Wallstrom, which is a 1.5 twisting, no flipping over the bar in the front direction. So just to bring that to your attention, super fun to watch.
They also, did they upgrade that skill this year? I believe it went from a to an F.
That was another upgrade. So high bar, they actually upgraded a lot of releases in this new code to bring attention to some of the smaller, or not smaller, but some of the less known skills and skills that were not done as frequently. And they just wanted to kind of bring them back into the sport of gymnastics, like some of the Jaeger elements and an element like Christian's about to do, something you haven't seen very often, but they're trying to make it more worth it to do it so that more people will be excited to compete it.
Hopefully we'll get to see a couple of these skills today, but getting ready to go up on Pommel right now, we have Wyatt from Gymnastics Central. We'll see what skills he's putting up today. Looks like everyone's kind of in the waiting period right now.
You'll see gymnasts on rings often. If you were watching that mount, you'll see the coach kind of lift them up, and that's often to give, it's called a false grip, and it helps to provide a better grip over the rings to make the strength moves just a bit easier most of the time. So back to the high bar. This is the skill I was previously talking about. We'll see now. And he did it very, very well. Super happy to see that.
That was nice.
KG, yeah, absolutely. KG is another athlete on our team that's extremely clean, and he's very pretty gymnastics to watch.
Up on rings, you'll see that giant elements he's putting up right now. So Wyatt's in handstand at the moment, pulling up another back giant. He's got to hold that for 2 seconds to get credit. He's moved in for a double, small hop, great routine. Love to see it. Ooh, on high bar, your guy just did a piked endo. That was really cool. Endo Stalder.
Piked endo, yes, correct. That was another one that people are starting to do more commonly. I don't believe it was as frequently done before, but we're starting to see a lot more of them now.
And was it upgraded from a B to a C or A to B?
I believe it's B to C. I'm not entirely sure, though, if it actually did get upgraded. It may have always been a C.
Okay. And for those watching, so the way that the scoring works, each element group has, starts off from A, goes all the way up to, I believe, I now, and A would be 1/10, B 2/10, and so on. So you're gonna hear me and Max kind of talk about some of these skill. Ooh. Saw a decent hand double front on vault. That was from David Shama.
Yes, correct. And one of the bigger things that they'll look for on that vault specifically is watching for cowboy, which is when you are in your tuck and flipping, if your knees are spread fully apart. It does increase rotation, which is often helpful to the gymnast, but aesthetically, they like to take deduction for that, though, because it doesn't look as pretty.
Yeah, you want to make sure you keep your legs together so you can avoid all that deduction. Looks like we got Riley up on floor.
A beautiful full punch double front.
So, I mean, you got the fun fact, even though Riley is on Stanford team and you have the USA rotation, Riley is also on the Team USA. So it's interesting to see the comparison of how these Stanford guys really split up their team and their lineups and still manage to somewhat dominate almost all of their meets. We'll see what kind of fight they put up today. But up on rings right now, we have Camden. Currently put into a beautiful cross, holding that with his hands. I don't know if you guys noticed, he opened up his hands. So gymnasts are now starting to do that to show that they are not false gripping, to make sure they get the full credit for the element. Hike Yamawaki, tuck Yamawaki. A little struggle into that handstand, but he's pushing through.
Great finish. If you were watching the floor a moment ago, you'll have seen another different variation of the scale that we were talking about before. So in the new code of points that was introduced this new season, actually, a scale which is any variation of standing on one leg was introduced and required to do in the routine. I can tell you from experience that not everybody is a super great fan of this change it is something that we are
I don't know
required
if
to do
anyone
now.
just saw that vault, but that was crazy from
I did
Brandon.
see
He
that.
went on, but he stuck that hand double front. Oh my God, that was crazy.
It was beautiful. Absolutely.
So, quick note, we see Theo in the background on P-bars. He's a Cal recruit from Norway, competed for the Norwegian national team as well. Really, really cool to see the international gymnastics presence within the NCAA.
Absolutely. And a great finish from Drake Andrews on high bar. Hit a great, clean set. He's been another big name so far this year. Recently qualified actually to the Winter Cup from I think it was the West Point Open, or was it Army?
Yeah,
West Point,
the
yeah.
West Point Open, that was, last weekend.
Qualified with another one of my teammates, Cameron Nelson, as well. Been super great and consistent this year, though.
No, Ohio State's been putting up some really big gymnastics, Max. Like you guys have been like just bumping up. I mean, I'm like really, really pumped to see where you guys stand in the rankings by the end of the year. What are you feeling? What are your
Honestly,
predictions?
I think Ohio State. I mean, for me, of course, it's gonna be field biased because I'm there, you know, and I work with these guys all the time. But I mean, out of all the teams I've been on, this is definitely one of the most committed ones I've ever been with. And we're here to push the envelope and do what it takes to be the best. So I think we have a huge year ahead of us, and we're excited to show what we've got in store. So it's going to be a great year.
No, I love that. So it looks like Rings has, we have Dean Rutt from SB Gymnastics on Rings right now. It's a strong kid. Back up right hand. Another clean back giant. Getting that 2-second hold. Notice how he looks up in that straddle. Wants to make sure he gets all the credit. Pushes into a beautiful straight prange. Stuck full in dismount. We'll take it.
Yeah. I'd love to direct your attention to high bar. This is one of the highest starts in the country currently. And that skill he just did is actually the head coach's skill that he created back in his day called a Suarez. And that was a Piatti layout to Ginger connected. So he has been just absolutely upgrading the heck out of his routines this entire summer and preseason. And I'm super excited to see where he's going to be able to finish up this rest of the season.
Dude, that was monster, Max.
Absolutely.
Massive layout releases on high bar. Those high flying skills on high bar, they're so much fun to watch.
From him. Yeah. He's just been absolutely incredible in this preseason. Both of us actually are coming back from a surgery that we had done in May. And we've both been just putting the work in, and you can obviously see it. That was a monster routine, and will easily be one of the higher scoring ones tonight.
So if you guys do see on floor, we got Asher Hong. So Asher actually competed at the 2024 Paris Olympics. So he's putting up a pretty big routine today on floor. It's always fun to watch these guys. Did he just do the signature scale? I love seeing that in these routines now. Was it? I couldn't tell. Was that a side scale? Was that a regular?
It was the Y scale, actually.
Y scale. You finish with the double in. That's a big finish.
Yeah, absolutely. So already we're seeing some huge gymnastics straight off the bat. It's just awesome to see. Seeing a lot of great changes. I think that start from the new code of points. One of the biggest changes, actually, I wanted to highlight that you'll see throughout this beat is routines are going to tend to be a bit shorter than they typically are, because the maximum skill count was reduced from 10 skills, or required 10 skills, down to 8. So it does lower start value slightly, but it does so for everybody. So it's not a huge issue, but it really just enables athletes to be able to throw these harder skills and not have as much worry about trying to finish the routine with harder dismounts as well.
So with them moving down to the 8 skills, I mean, these guys are putting in such big skills now so that they can up their difficulty. How are you feeling about that? I mean, you're now training with that, Max. How do you feel the guys are kind of faring with the new code?
I think there's a lot of really positive changes. There's a few things that are kind of we feel whatever about just because they're minor changes, 1/10, 2/10, like, not huge differences. But I think some of those bigger changes with bringing the routine skill number down to 8 is really awesome. It gives us that freedom to be able to do the harder things and not have to be so worried about the endurance towards the end of the routine.
No, that makes sense. So it looks like Pommel is finished up, rings is finished, and so is vault and P bars. We just got a couple more guys on high bar and floor left. Well, rounding out that first rotation, yeah, on both floor and high bar. So on floor, it looks like we got starting Jeremy Bischoff. Max, you see that Kovacs up on high bar?
Yeah, that was
Jesse,
awesome.
right?
It is. He actually just put that on the comp bar like 2-ish weeks ago, so awesome to see him catching that. All right, pretty good finish.
Got to his feet. That's all that matters.
Absolutely.
My old coach would hate to hear me say that. Stick or nothing.
Right, of course.
It looks like last up on floor, we got Karen Mandava. He's a freshman, actually competed at the Olympic trials earlier in 2024, which honestly is crazy to see. You have juniors that are still in high school competing against these guys that are in the NCAA that are on the Olympic caliber. So it'll be really cool to see his NCAA debut, and at the Stanford Open. Whether or not that's his debut, I could be wrong. He might have competed last weekend. Either way.
Absolutely. We are experiencing a little bit of server issues, just kind of with the cameras pausing and stuff. Our team is currently working on it, so we're trying to get that resolved now. But just a heads up, we are actively trying to get those all figured out. So just bear with us.
Just so everyone's aware, with the scoring right now, we got Stanford up ahead at 54.3 after the first rotation. We still got, I believe, one more routine, the 6th routine from Ohio. We got Karen again on floor, the 5th routine. So Stanford 54.3, California 51.8, and Ohio with a 54. Oh, Ohio's coming in hot.
Yeah, absolutely. And high bar typically can be a make or break event. So it's really awesome to see a strong start like that. And I think it's really going to set the tempo for Ohio State so far this meet. Stanford starting on vault also can be a huge confidence boost into the whole meet, because vault is usually a higher scoring event. And really, if everyone does their job, it can set the tone as well. So I think we're going to see some great fights and neck-and-neck battles between some of the athletes here tonight.
Just highlighting some of the big scores that we've seen. I mean, like Max just said, I mean, the highest scores of this entire first rotation are actually the entire Stanford vault lineup. You got a 14-3 from Taylor Burkhart, that half on, and you got from Brandon as well, that massive double front, 14.45. Those are going to be some of the biggest scores we're going to see today, just throughout the whole meet. Following up on that, you got a big 13.6 from Theo Cal. And then you have from Asher, you have a big 13.75 on floor. So exciting to see some of these big scores just in the first rotation.
Absolutely. And I think that's just the surface of it. I think we're going to see some crazy stuff here tonight still.
What are some crazy things that you think we're going to see from Ohio this day? Can you give us a little preview?
First thing that my mind goes to is Cameron Nelson. Everyone calls him the triple back guy. He's been doing them in all of his routines lately. But specifically on floor, he's been the first person to do both back triple pike and a back triple back in the same routine. So I believe he'll be doing that here today. Not entirely sure. He has also been training a half to take it easy on his body, because those are some really big, intense skills. And to be able to do that season long is going to be challenging. But he's definitely one of our strongest guys on our team, like physically. So I think his body's made to last. So
No, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see the reaction you have when he pulls out these big skills. But just to direct everyone's attention up on floor, we do have Kieran Mandava, the freshman from Stanford, elite gymnast over here. Just did a mana or a visa. Now is moving on to a side pass. Stock double full. It's always nerve-wracking being the last one to go on the first rotation. All eyes are on you, but he's holding up pretty well.
Absolutely. And there's that scale again. And another rule change with the floor this year, you are required to finish with a double flipping element, which has been a challenging change for a lot of people. As most people would finish with the back triple full. It was signature, copy and paste throughout NCAA. Everyone did it because it was just a lock-on skill that everyone could do. But with that change, I think it brings some new exciting variety that you're going to get to see at the end of routine.
I mean, I've been looking. You're right. It is a big variety, right? Because I've been seeing some double pike finishes. I mean, Karen just did a double Arabian, and we got Asher that did a double layout. So it is cool to now see that these routines have been changing a lot more with this new code. I will say I was a little bit skeptical of it going down to 8 skills, but I think this has been pretty cool.
Absolutely.
So it looks like that was the end of the first rotation. Stanford leading by just 0.3. That's a pretty strong start for both Ohio and Stanford today. And Cal trailing with a 51.8. I still believe that they can come back up. I got my hopes high, not to be biased for anyone listening.
No, absolutely. I think at this pace, if they keep this up, those numbers, those 318s, 19s, I think those can be broken today. I think people can start to break those 320 marks. Last year with it was a 5-person lineup and 5 people count. So usually towards the end of season, those high scoring team all arounds were going to be around a 425 and greater. So a lot of teams were pushing that like crazy at the end of the season. But with the athletes going down to 8 skills now, there's going to be obviously a significant drop. So that number right now is kind of 318. So it's pretty much a 100-point drop down. But I think we're going to be pushing 320s very, very soon, if not today.
Yeah. Well, we might see it today, but it'll be cool to see the spike in some of these scores as the season goes on. As the start of the season, these guys are typically putting up, newer skills. They've been training some of these hardline skills, but they don't want to go too all out, like you were saying about Cameron earlier, with the way that he's the way he's doing his floor routine. So we'll definitely see some bigger skills throughout the season, but. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to have the NCAA season start like this. Side note, I do see a comment on the YouTube live from someone saying that I refer to Ohio State as Ohio, so I will make sure that I refer to you guys as Ohio State and not Ohio moving forward. Sorry about that, Joyful Judge.
Yeah, those Ohio State. They were sticklers about it.
No, it's all good. Call me out.
Too, actually. No, I mean, I learned that the hard way as well when I first got here.
But there was another thing, Max, you were telling me about the way that the new changes come out. So before, you had about, I believe it was a lineup of around 15 guys. You'd have an alternate that could travel as well. But with the new code change and the new changes within the NCAA, you had mentioned that there's a smaller lineup that can travel as well.
Correct. So with the reduction in size of lineups, there's only 4 guys up and 4 guys counting as opposed to the 5 up, 5 count last year. So they're naturally going to travel less people every single meet. So it's now a 12-man lineup, and I believe that the alternate has to stay within that 12-man, as where last year it was a 15-man lineup with a 16th traveling alternate. So it just creates a lot more, you have to be able to use your athletes for multiple events most of the time in order to get the most use out of each athlete on that event or multiple events.
So these guys are really fighting for their lineup spots now. I mean, before they were definitely fighting with the 5 up 4 count at the beginning of the season, but now that they moved officially to the 4 up 4 count throughout the, again, correct me if I'm wrong, Max, but I believe it's 4 up 4 count for the whole season. There isn't any like routine that you can discard before Winter Cup like it used to be.
Correct. That's correct. Today is kind of an exception to that because you will see more than 4 guys go up on each event. But that's strictly because this is a qualifying event for Winter Cup. People will, as long as it was kind of a confusing thing. I had to try to understand it as well. But as long as the all-arounders that you're traveling that are trying to make Winter Cup are part of that squad that are competing as well, they were able to travel more athletes.
No, that is cool. It'll be interesting to see how some of these coaches like design their lineups. I mean, I know they're thinking really strategically on how they can utilize to the maximum some of these guys. But again, you can't necessarily have someone competing all around throughout the entire season. Their body is just not going to be able to take it. So we'll definitely see some ins and outs from a lot of these bigger guys. But also one thing I wanted to point out was just so Max, you were talking about some of these, the differences in the scoring from last year with the 420s, 425s, and now we're going down to about 100 points with those 8 skills. Quick shout out. So Oklahoma, just to give everyone a reference, Oklahoma scored a 330 earlier today, and Illinois had a 325. So just to give everyone a reference of what we're looking for towards the end of the meet.
Wow, that's actually news to me. I hadn't seen those updates. So clearly that 320 threshold has already been broken. So, I mean, obviously you're going to see these teams keep pushing that. So I'm excited to see here today if any 3 of the teams we've got here today are going to break that as well.
So I give a quick little shout out. My old teammate Caleb Rickard is currently the assistant coach for the Stanford women's team. Just shot me a quick text. I think he recognized my voice. So excited to see you, man. Congrats again on the assistant coaching position at Stanford. Excited to see what you can do.
Alrighty, it looks like we've got some guys beginning now. We got rings, high bar, and P-bars. So
I like that. Let's see who's up.
Rapid fire together.
Yeah, we got Cal up on high bar, and on rings we have, it says that Asher in the lineup, but that is incorrect. Oh, Chase from Harpeth from Tennessee. So that's a junior guy on rings, and we have Cal up on high bar at the moment. Mateo.
Yeah, Chase is actually one of my former teammates as well. He went to Buffalo Grove for a long period of time. I was there with him, but they unfortunately closed during the COVID pandemic due to just financial reasons. So then I was moved over to Lakeshore. Yeah,
Tennessee will pick him right up.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if you guys were watching for that high bar dismount. We did see a big double laid out. That's actually a little bit rare when it comes to high bar in the NCAA. You'll see a lot of guys just do a half in, half out just to keep it safe, simple, and get that big stick. So it is cool to see some of these big flying events or big flying skills on high bar.
A great vault.
Oh man, that was a beautiful 2.5.
Absolutely.
That was from Toma. It was senior, I believe.
Correct, yep. I think last pass from Jacob on floor here. Double pike. Small hop. Great finish though. I think he had a nice dope. I think he had a small mess up on his first pass, the full punch double front. But I think out of any of the passes, that's one of those that's the easiest to mess up. It's very timing based. You got to be able to get the right punch every single time. Looks like the stream is paused right now, so I actually cannot see anything myself except for the top left.
It looks like that's Carter Kim up on high bar. I did see from the corner he's been doing a couple releases in a row.
Winding up for the dismount. A great finish. Strong double. Oh, small step on the backwards. Yeah, that happens. You get excited, stand up a little bit too fast, and then you kind of realize when it's too late, you're like all caught up in the moment. So yeah, it happens, but a great routine from him.
One thing to watch out for all the viewers over here is the celebrations. So I know for me, when I was competing, we would always visualize our celebrations. We get so hyped with the team. So make sure to watch out for some of these big flying skills. When they finish up, they're going to come back and give those high fives, be all pumped. And, these guys really just feed off a lot of that energy.
Absolutely. And it's super cool. I'm sure Asad, like it's super cool to be in that circle when someone finishes that routine, to be there and feel that excitement,
No, I mean, honestly, it's one of the best. But as I'm saying that, we just saw Asher finish up on Pommel. Again, a 2024 Olympian. You'll see him. He gave his little shout out right there, banging his chest, getting the crowd all hype. No, we love that. And the rest of the team, again, like the whole energy, everyone just builds it up. It just makes the meet so much more exciting.
And so on floor, we've actually got one of our new freshmen, Noah Copeland. He's from Ohio. So, yeah, born and raised. So he's awesome to have on the team. Been super strong so far this season.
Seems to be keeping everything clean. Even with that, like Max, I would argue like it's hard for freshmen to make lineup, and especially with the new, 4-up 4 count, these guys are really fighting for their spots. So when you do have a freshman making lineup, that is a pretty big deal. Just quick shout out to Cal real quickly, that big flying Tkachev right there. Move back to floor. Sorry, I got a little excited.
I think it's awesome to highlight it all. It's obviously chaotic. There's a lot going on, but great finish from him on floor.
It's so interesting for me to see these backdoor pikes being done by men's gymnastics, because for a good amount, that was a big staple in women's NCAA, and you never saw it when it came to the men's. So it is really interesting to see that shift. But again, that typically happens every quad whenever the the code changes. I do want to highlight quickly, we have a kid from Gym Tech, Jackson over here from Gym Tech Academy up on rings. Gym Tech is actually located in my hometown of Knoxville, Tennessee, so I'm really excited to see some of these guys representing. He's head coached by Matt Henry, another big supporter of just NCAA in general. And then on Pommel, it looks like we have Jeremy Bischoff from Stanford, competing right now for the Team USA. Again, so Team USA is on the Pommel horse rotation. Good finish from Jackson up on rings. Took it.
Over on floor, we have one of our juniors, Jesse. He's trying to qualify this weekend to the Winter Cup, so he's one of our all-around athletes.
So, wait, Max, you want to give a little rundown on how you qualify to Winter Cup? What does that even mean?
So it differs based on the different meets, how the events are willing to try to qualify you to the next step. So like the West Point Open that we competed at 2 weeks ago, the top 2 all-around athletes were your 2 athletes that are going to qualify to Winter Cup from that meet. There's a lot of different qualifying events throughout the early season, like January, February. But Stanford is one of them. I'm not entirely sure. I think there may be event specializing at Stanford, because one of our horse specialists, Parker, came here last year to specialize for horse to try to make it to Winter Cup. But usually the all-around and 1 or 2 guys for each specializing event can earn a qualified spot to Winter Cup.
Okay. And getting a qualified spot to Winter Cup typically leads to nationals, then the ability to be on the national team.
Correct.
Cool. No, that makes sense. Also, just quick little shout out. We saw Theo from Cal and Norway. He just stuck his half in, half out off of high bar. Love to see it for Cal. We love those sticks. It's always exciting. And then it looks like up on Pommel right now, we have Kieran Mandava again competing at Stanford, but right now for Team USA. It is again really interesting to see a freshman at Stanford, not even competing for Stanford right now, but he's competing for Team USA. So a little double whammy. It is exciting. I'm sure it's very nerve-wracking to be in his home gym or home pavilion, being able to do this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just really cool to have the opportunities within the NCAA like that, and you have this all across the NCAA. Like Max was saying earlier, you have Cameron on Ohio State, who also is a former Team USA athlete. I'm assuming there are other Ohio guys right now that are vying for some of those spots.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of things that come with being on the Team USA. Some of the biggest ones, just being able to travel to lots of different competitions around the world. Cam actually went to Egypt last year, had an incredible experience there. So lots of great perks of being on the team.
That is really, really exciting. I mean, when you think about it, you have a lot of these NCAA guys that, again, that are competing for not only USA, but they're competing for a couple other countries across the NCAA, but they have to pause their NCAA season to be able to compete at these international comps, which does affect lineups. You're going to see this happen across the board, not just Stanford. I mean, you're going to see this at Ohio, you can see this at Oklahoma, Cal, all the above. And it gives the opportunity for a lot of these 4-up, 4-count lineups to be able to be switched and give the opportunity for some freshmen to compete, for some of those guys that are really vying for those spots. So I do think that the NCAA allowing for, these international comps to happen really gives out a big opportunity for a lot more people on these teams, especially with this new 4-up, 4-count lineup. Do you see that bell? Wait, is that a bell on P-bars? No, what, the giant double back. Remind me again the name of that skill.
Giant double back, I believe, is bell, correct.
Okay, cool. You don't see that in the NCAA ever. That was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Bell's a pretty rare skill. Not entirely sure. That may have been one of the skills they upgraded this year just so that we may see more of it.
And this is Arun from Stanford. Believe he is also a freshman. And then up on Pommel again, you have
there's
another
our
one
triple
of them.
back. There was the triple back on floor. It looks like he may just be doing the half-half today as the second pass. Yes, correct. So that was something I was just trying to highlight, was making your body last throughout the entire season. So he's already qualified to the Winter Cup. So he's here to just put up a great score for us today. And he's got to save his body kind of for the rest of the season. So being smart with when to do that huge double skill is important. So.
Nice. This routine from Cameron is nuts. I mean, he went viral a couple weeks ago for his debut of a world's first, like you were talking about earlier, Max. Two triple backs in one routine. I mean, the amount your body has to go through to be able to make that work. I mean, the training that has to go through your legs, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was incredible to see the building process for it.
Did he just stick that double front? That was tight.
I believe, yeah.
That's good, It's really changed.
And a double dismount. Wow.
What that? Just busy doing stuff, man.
Sorry, for the viewers over here, you can't see my face, but my jaw just kind of dropped because being able to do that many double flipping skills in one routine, that was honestly kind of crazy.
Absolutely. It's just chock full beginning to end. I'm honestly not even sure how his legs do it. It's crazy.
It's insane.
That might have been the probably the hardest floor routine in the NCAA right now, arguably in the world at the moment.
That's crazy. But it's cool. Something's working. Tonight's not really working. The stream is a little weird, but yeah. Networking problems as always. Sadly. Cool, buddy. Yeah. Let me just see.
So it looks like up on P-bars right now, we have Taylor Burkhart. So Taylor is actually a co-captain, senior right now. Honestly, chill guy, awesome. Stuck a double pike. Love to see it. I mean, you have these guys from Stanford, like the energy that they bring. Look at the way he's celebrating right now. These guys pump up the crowd, but not only are they pumping up the crowd, they're pumping up the team. They're getting these guys so excited. And you'll notice a lot of these guys will end up high-fiving and they're cheering on some of the other teams as well. That's the best thing, in my opinion, about NCAA men's gymnastics, man. Like, it's such a team sport, and like these guys grew up competing against each other within the JO nationals as well. And so when you grow up from such a young age, seeing these guys competing all over the country, and then you get to college, you get to compete against each other, like it's such a fun and incredible energy. So I don't know, just if you guys can keep an eye out as the viewers, just look to see whenever these guys finish up their meets, they're hyping each other up, they're excited. And they're all really friends. That's the best part. Is you finish up a meet and then we all go out to dinner afterwards. It's a really, really good time.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another one of our all-around guys at Ohio State that's trying to qualify to win the cup as well. And a huge score for Cam on that floor routine, 14.6. That's his season high so far for sure. Some great execution. One of the difficulties is when he does both triple backs. it just leaves a lot of room for just landing error. So I think when he does just one triple with the cleaner half-half, it creates a lot more room to have a better execution score.
That makes sense. And then you also saw, so on floor right now, he did the circle element. He did the Russian element right there. Remind me, Max, was that upgraded, downgraded? I don't know. I know with the acros, they've been kind of tossing those around.
I believe that one stayed the same. I don't think any of the acros really changed value too much. I think the only thing changing with the acro, or with the non-acro actually, sorry, was just the scale, the inclusion of the scale.
So we just saw him do a whip to a 2.5. So with the new code as well, is that a bonus point or 1 or 2? Do you remember if it's an A or B?
It should be a 1/10 bonus for that connection. The whip is a B and the 2.5 is a D. So for any layout to twisting combo, it has to be at least a B to D to get 1/10 of bonus.
Well, so when you guys are watching, you'll see some of these guys will do front full to double front or back whip to back 2.5. You'll see them try to connect some skills, and they're getting just a little bit of extra tense within their 8-element routine, just to be able to beef up that start value as much as possible.
Right, exactly. And one of the cool things about the connections is it's for the guys that are really strong with it, it creates it a lot more. I guess it helps you with your energy-wise just throughout the routine, because you don't have to do as many passes if you're packing more skills into each pass. So if you are doing 2 combos across the diagonals, you've already accomplished 4 of your skills. Then you've got a non-acro, a side pass, and a dismount, and then you're done. So there are people that are going to do those 5 full passes, or even 6 sometimes, but some of those guys that are better with the combos, you'll see be only doing 4 passes.
And the cool thing is, so these connections are not just on floor. You're going to see them across the board so you're going to see them on P bars as well. You'll see a lot of connections on high bar. So we'll see if some of these guys are going to be doing Tkachev, or maybe in some Kovacs connections. That also includes the additional 10th bonus, which again, there's beefs up the start value with the lower amount of skills that these guys are doing. They're definitely going to be aiming to get that start value as high as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the biggest changes was with high bar, actually. They upgraded Ginger, that you may know from women's gymnastics as well. They upgraded that from a C to a D, which was a big change that you're going to see a lot of guys doing Ginger now, because it creates a lot of room to try to do new connections. So you can pretty much throw that Ginger from anything. You can do it from Yamawaki to Tkachev, Jaegers, which also got upgraded. So it's just a great little versatile skill that you can throw in there and get.
No, that is cool. So with the Ginger, so for the people listening, so you have a Ginger is essentially a back layout with a half twist, catching back onto the bar, and a Jaeger is from a front giant position, a big let go front tuck, catch back on, typically in a straddle or piked position. And it looks like one of your guys is up on floor right now.
Yes, this is Justin Saccone.
Little cowboy on that double front.
Yeah. Another great thing about the non-acro on the floor is that it gives you a chance to kind of breathe in between your presses, kind of collect yourself. Most people do it towards the end of the routine, where they may need that breather to take a second, get ready for that dismount, and then just kind of go for it. So it's a great little tool to have ready. And it looks like a great finish from Justin.
You'll notice a lot of these guys on floor too, like you can't spend more than a second and a half. If you spend more than 2 seconds in the corner, judges can take off. So these guys will try to breathe in the best way possible before they do that last skill. And again, that is actually really, really hard. So these guys do work on their breathing techniques while they work on these floor passes. I guess with that was the end of rotation 2. Yeah. The highest score of that rotation was Cameron from floor. He got a 14.6, massive. Whoa. And then you got Brandon on P-bars with a big 14 from Stanford. And then you have a senior with a 13.95 Toma from SB Gymnastics. It's pretty high score in rotation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that 14 on parallel bars is going to be big. I believe only one of our athletes last week scored a 14, I think 14-1. So that's going to be tough to do, but definitely very impactful for the team.
Yeah, it is. So I guess rounding out that second rotation, looks like Ohio is in the lead right now with a 107.85. Second, Stanford with a 106.6, and Cal with a 101.95. That's a pretty exciting second rotation. I'm kind of excited to see Ohio up right now. Sorry for anyone watching. We do love Stanford, but it's always fun to see another team take the realm. And for those listening as well, Stanford right now is they've won the past 5 national championships. So I think a lot of these teams, you have Oklahoma, Ohio, Michigan, a lot of these guys are really vying to see if they can topple this little regime that's going on. So I think it'll be really, really cool to just watch the friendly competition that's happening right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's kind of, I guess, funny for me is that this is like, maybe I would have to say this is probably Stanford's B team that's going up right now, because a lot of their top guys are on Team USA or competing for Team USA right now at this competition. So I think it's definitely interesting. But I think it's great to see other guys getting a chance to like put themselves out there and compete to show what they've got. So
you said it, not me. I wasn't going to.
No, I mean,
I do agree with Max on that.
Yeah,
point. I mean,
they
have half the team is on the national team.
Right, exactly.
You had to be. It is again kind of cool.
It's that Stanford, Michigan. They both got multiple guys that were on the Olympic team in this past year. So I think obviously strategically, it's smart for them to use them towards the end of the season at some of those biggest meets that really, really count.
No, that is true, and it opens up the opportunity for a lot of these other guys to be able to get these lineup spots. They're fighting day in, day out. I know I've repeated this several times, but with that 4-up-4 count, it really does limit the amount of routines. I mean, think about it. Before it was 30 routines. Now we're down to 24. So with that only. With only that many routines happening on each event, it really does take away the opportunity for some of these guys to be able to get their shot within the NCAA. So I do think that splitting up teams like this is actually really, really cool.
It's like they're just finishing up their one touch now. And you see the coaches underneath the pommel horse there. They're actually able to change the setting of how wide the pommels, or how wide or close they are. And just based on the gymnasts, you get different, opinions on how they like it. I know Parker specifically, he's one that you're absolutely going to want to watch this rotation. He's been putting up some huge scores this season, but he prefers his pommels to be a little bit wider, thinks it kind of provides him more upright structure. So, but absolutely somebody you want to keep your eye out for.
And with that being said, as they're adjusting the pommel horse, the handles, you'll notice some of these guys, when they make it really, really wide, they'll actually be able to do the Russian element in between the pommel horse handles, which is an upgraded Russian element. We do have. Sorry, I thought the P bars had just started. I got kind of excited. But yeah, you'll see some of these skills, done in between the handles on pommels. Those are extremely difficult, but very, very cool to watch. So it looks like for this next rotation, we got Cal starting up on floor. First up, we got a freshman. His name is Trig. Little fun fact about Trig: he's actually from London, England. So he had just joined. He's just excited to be a part of this. He gave me a little update beforehand. I'm excited to see it. But looks like we got the screen up on high bar. So that's Ian Lasik Ellis.
A nice cause full there.
Nice cause full. We love that. That's a little gym tech. Jackson right there. On rings right now, you'll notice Asher Hong. Again, Olympian just went to backup rise planche, lower Maltese. Again, backup rise Maltese. He's holding these positions for 2 seconds apiece, and he's static. You have to make sure you hold them for 2 seconds, or else the judges will not give you credit.
And they're very strict about it too. I mean, if you show even just a little bit of just a little bit of movement, they're more than happy to take it away from you. So.
And with that dismount, lay double dismount. That's one of the hardest dismounts on the code off of rings. So not only was that a stacked routine from strength, also a stacked routine on dismount as well.
Absolutely. And with you mentioning dismounts, I actually would love to bring up a little point with the new code actually. So with the code last year, element groups you have 4 element groups on each event. And if you accomplish all of them, each element group is worth 0.5 of your routine. So basically, from the start of your routine, if you accomplish all 4 of your element groups, you start from a 12. And your difficulty is then added upon that. But this year, they changed the rule with dismounting where whatever the value of your dismount is, it adds upon, or it basically multiplies that value for the dismount times 2, instead of just having a 5/10 element group. So if you do an E dismount, you'll get the E dismount plus your 5/10 element group. But if you do one more 10th upgraded to an F, you get your F dismount, which is 6/10, and you get another 6/10 for the element group.
Wow. Okay. So these guys, the bigger dismount you do, the more point. I mean, that's actually that's a really cool change. I did not know that.
It's huge incentive to make people want to do the harder dismount, and I think that was a really good combo that they did with going down to the 8 skills. Is you have that little bit more energy, so they're trying to encourage you to do the harder dismount.
No, that makes sense on why we're seeing some of these bigger dismounts, because this is unique to me, right? Like the double off of high bar, these lay double off of rings, like or the double from Cameron on floor, like that actually does add up, and that's why they're throwing these big dismounts, because you didn't necessarily see that in the NCAA beforehand.
Exactly.
Then just quick note on Pommel, quickly, you're seeing the flared Magyar Savato, extremely hard back and forth, but he managed to power through.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's pretty consistent with that. And I don't think I've ever actually seen him miss it in my time here. So I think over time I've become a little numb to it, but it is actually so beautiful to watch every time. So love that you recognize that.
But what we seen, big skill on high bar, Casino from Brandon Nguyen.
Absolutely.
Didn't connect that Coleman, but still it was beautiful. I know we're watching these guys right now. I just want to point out that rings routine from Asher. It scored a 14.5. To get above a 14, just a quick note, to get above a 14 on rings is insanely difficult. Not only do you have to hold everything perfectly, you also have to make sure that there are no movements at all with the rings to be able to get that score. So it is just insane to see that Olympian get that score. But again, makes sense. He did go to the 2024 Olympics.
Yeah, absolutely. Those positions are just, I mean, he's so controlled. So I think deserved, absolutely.
And just to debunk one of those myths real quickly, I mean, you saw Asher on rings right beforehand. I mean, small dude. He's about like 5'2", maybe 5'3". But then you have Kieran on rings right now, freshman at Stanford, also competing for Team USA at the moment. But you'll notice he's almost 6 foot. And he's also up on the rings doing these things. So it is debunking that myth. A lot of people think that, the smaller you are, the better you'll be at gymnastics. You have one of the best guys in the country, almost 6 foot, competing for Team USA at Stanford right now with a great double dismount.
Like back there, I'm trying to look at that top left screen right now to see who just finished on horse.
That was, I believe it was David.
Yes,
from
that
Ohio.
was David. Yes, he's another freshman actually. Great to see him competing. Hard worker.
We're seeing a lot of these freshmen get an opportunity to compete today. This is really, really cool.
Yeah. I think it's really important to be able to put themselves out there early, as a freshman trying to get into those all-around spots, put your name out there.
The more opportunity that you get within these places, the more confident you get, the easier it is to step up and be that leader as you progress throughout your time on one of these teams. I know you've been on that journey, right, Max?
Oh, I have, yes. It's been a rough preseason for me. Just a lot of issues with like health issues, but I'm definitely getting through them and powering forward. So
No, we're gonna see you. We're seeing you in lineup in this season. I'm excited.
That's what I'm shooting for right now. Yep. So happy to be here and commentate and give you some inside view, though. It's awesome, kind of fun from my point of view. So get to see the guys I train with every day and kind of share with you guys what I know. So.
We got Taylor on high bar. Whoa. Sorry, my stream was a little bit late, but he did that big triple back.
Yeah,
wow. First time I've seen that from Taylor.
I didn't want to spoil it for you. I figured your stream might have been just a little bit delayed. So, but yeah, you're going to see a lot more triple backs this year. It's actually a skill in my routine that I'm doing this year, but very worth it to do at the end of the routine. You know, that's that bonus that I was telling you guys about not too long ago. But triple back off high bar is a F, so it gives you that 6/10 of like points for the actual dismount and 6 more tenths for your element group. So it really just boosts the routine a lot.
I mean, talk to the guys about what the training procedure looks like to be able to finish off with a dismount like that. Like how are you really going about making sure that you can consistently do that in a routine?
I would say initially the biggest part is just making sure that you're going about the process safely. You know, you don't want to ever just up something just to do it and, you know, not be ready for the skill because you felt that risk of injury at that point. But I mean, for me personally, when I was putting that skill towards the end of my routine, you do struggle with it in the beginning a bit just to find the endurance to land at the end of the routine. But honestly, just numbers and repetition is what makes it work. So over time, you start to feel more comfortable with it. You gain the endurance that you need, and in no time that routine becomes your normal.
That's so crazy, man. I'm so excited to see you put that on the floor. Okay, so up on P bars right now, we do have a Stanford gymnast, Panteli Kolodi. Some big skills up on P bars right now. He's been really, really clean, really consistent.
It looks like Vault right now. I think next up on Vault is actually one of Jesse's teammates from his home gym in Hawaii, the Hawaiian Island Twisters. So it's cool to see them out here as well.
That's gotta be crazy for these Hawaiian athletes to be able to fly all the way out and then compete. I mean, that's not an easy flight to hop on and then immediately get back to, you know, competing. So honestly, big shout out to these guys.
Absolutely, they've got a tough job to do after sitting on that long of a plane ride for sure. But
yeah, they do
get it done. So
I just want to direct everyone's attention really quickly to rings right now. You do have Riley Luce. Riley Luce has gone viral several times for being the planche man. He's collaborated with a bunch of different, sensations with the way that he can hold his strengths. Really, really cool to see. Watch him on rings right now and see him he's holding that back upright planche right now and an inverted cross. These are really, really hard strength elements, and he makes them look so easy.
If you were watching the high bar a moment ago, you saw some in-bar skill. It's called the German Giant sequence. Awesome sequence that you'll see. Not everybody, but it has become more common nowadays because it's worth a decent amount. It's a 4-skill sequence depending on how you do it. And the entry into the skill is 3/10. The actual German Giant itself is 4/10. And if you exit the skill to a handstand, you get 3. But if you don't exit, you get a B plus another B for your stalder. So, and it's hard to lose points on that skill just because it is just another giant variation. It's just that the timing of it is the most difficult part. So once people have mastered that, it's an incredible skill to throw in the routine, because you just lose hardly anything, and it just makes a great little combo to throw in there.
No, I like that, and just the high bar athlete he was just talking about from Stanford, Zachary Green. Just a fun fact about Zach. He's actually gymnastics is just in his blood. Both his mom and his dad were both Cal gymnasts as well. His sister was also on the Cal team. So it's really exciting to see the entire family just be these collegiate gymnasts, and him making his debut as a freshman at Stanford right now. 13.55, big score for Zach. Exciting to see it. Congrats, man.
And now on high bar, David Showdown.
Sounds like the
Quick shout
announcer in there
to
is pretty excited.
probably got excited. But I just want to point out what I was saying earlier about, tall guys up on rings as well, debunking that myth. Kiran Mandava from Stanford did score a 14.2 on rings. Massive score.
And you'll see on high bar, there's those German giants again. Huge impact, though. I mean, he did executed them pretty much perfectly. I doubt he loses anything on them.
His form is incredible. Super
Absolutely.
tight all the way around. Beautiful stuck dismount.
Yes, and he's actually an athlete that just came out of Evo, one of the newer gyms, but definitely one of the, arguably the best one in the country right now. They've got some incredible athletes there, and crazy coaching staff as well.
Oh, that is really cool. Fun fact about Evo. So with NCAA men's gymnastics really getting a lot of momentum this year, one thing we've seen is the opening of professional men's gymnastics gyms, Evo being the start of them. Right now, they're head coached by Syke Caesar and Sam McCulloch, both Olympians, both were on the same team at Michigan, and they have all these guys coming out, and now they're competing in the NCAA. So it's exciting and honestly really, really refreshing to know that some of these Olympians and NCAA alums are now producing more and more NCAA athletes just across the board. It looks like Kaylin just finished up on floor from Cal. Big hype. It's always fun to see them celebrate afterwards.
You'll see on the screen shown now some of those athletes in the back sitting there. One of the terms we like to use is called being iced. So someone like Caden Spencer, who you saw put up that big high bar score, he is only competing on high bar and parallel bars today. But because Ohio State started on high bar, P-bars is going to be their last event. So his job now, pretty much after doing high bar, is just to stay warm pretty much the whole competition and be ready for when that last event comes. It's challenging to keep the mentality because you're trying to support your teammates, but you're also trying to remember that you've got your job to do. So it can be a lot, but I think just compartmentalizing it all is one of the biggest things. And he does a great job at it. So we've seen him do it time and time again. So.
I mean, like on that, like realistically, when you think about it, these guys come in, they do the warm up at the very beginning of their meet for 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then they have to sit there and wait for their turn, which could be anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour and a half, up to 2 hours before they're even up on the event. They're cheering up these guys. So being able to stay in that mentality, also staying warm and being ready to go is a challenging feat. So these guys are working on their mental game as well the whole time around. Up on if
I think who is that on high bar?
David had just went on high bar, so I believe that is Cooper.
Yeah, that's Cooper Kim, I think. He's actually a Region 5, so I've trained with him before. Great kid.
Okay.
Great gymnastics as well. Yeah, it's excited to see what he's got to do.
Max, was your home gym in Chicago?
It is. I train at Lakeshore Academy with our.
Do you know Delai?
Do I know who?
Delai Jamianku?
I don't believe
He also had a brother. They're both from Basil.
I don't think I know either of them. No.
They might have been out of your time. Oh, you're making me feel old, man. They might be a little bit out of your time.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is that I was only at Lakeshore for a 2-year period. So
okay.
I wasn't there my whole career. I was mostly at Buffalo Grove.
Okay.
Majority of my career. But
We'll get
Buffalo
back to
Grove's
Buffalo Grove in a
produced-
second.
Yeah.
No, continue. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying Buffalo Grove's produced some amazing athletes, lots of NCAA athletes in the past. Grant Breckenridge, one of them. He's a former Stanford and national team member. And I mean,
was Curran also from Buffalo Grove? I know he's from
Curran
the
was
area.
not. Curran was a Region 5 athlete. I forget his gym name, though. He trained with Kevin Chope, though, I believe.
Okay.
But Paul Judah is another one that was at Buffalo Grove.
Exciting.
So lots
Also,
of
just quick
really
shout
great
out.
athletes.
Just Cooper came with that last. I know we were talking about these big dismounts right now. He's in a big double laid out. You could see the relief on his face when he made it. I know he was probably so excited because that was a huge routine. Lots of high flying skills. Love to see it. Well, I guess that rounds out what rotation 3 with Ohio still in the lead. Oh, Max, your team is taking it. Okay,
Absolutely.
So 162.7 for Ohio State, 161.15 for Stanford, and 155.35 for Cal. Wow. This is turned out to be an exciting meet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to notice, too, that Stanford still does have floor coming up, which is a big scoring event as well. So
That is
I think last year you saw, or not just last year, but the 4 years before that, vault was a very high scoring event because that was another change they actually made to the code this year. Was they reduced every start value on vault by 4/10. So a vault like the cause 1.5, or what most people just call a 2.5, was worth a 5.2 last year, got downgraded to a 4.8. So every single vault that you've seen is just going down in value, but I believe that's just to keep vault from being too separated in score-wise from other events.
As a former vault guy, not gonna lie, not too happy about that vault change. We love those skills.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of guys were always excited to see a bigger score go up on that event. But with the changes, I think they just were trying to make it pretty even with the rest of the events. But
I will admit, I do think that it does make things more even. As salty as I am about that change, it does level out the playing field.
Correct.
All right, so for rotation 4, looks like we got Stanford starting up on floor, Cal up on pommel, Ohio State on rings, Stanford with their USA team on vault, and you got this 2 senior rotations on parallel bars and high bar. So we got some exciting routines coming up on this one. I would say to watch out for. You got Taylor Burkhart on floor, Aiden Lee on pommel horse. So Aiden Lee, NCAA All-American on pommel from Cal. Really big routine. Exciting to see it. On rings, what should we look out for on rings from Ohio?
Definitely some of the big routines I would say are Tyler Rockwood and Cameron Nelson. A lot of strength from Cam is done, and a big dismount that you'll get to see. Tyler's one of those, another like really clean, and he's got a pretty difficult routine as well. So I think all that together, it should be a strong ring lineup for us.
Okay.
Specifically on vault, I think one of those biggest ones, not sure if he's going to do it today, is Asher Hong. He's done the Risei Guang before. Huge skill, pretty much the hardest skill you can do on vault. And he's also got the 3.5. He's competed those before, but it'll be kind of a surprise to us today what he's going to do.
What's crazy is he competed the Risei Guang almost entirely of the 2023 to 2024 season, which is just insane to think about. The hardest vault in the world is being done by an NCAA athlete, and then he gets up and does it at the Olympic trials, bones it, and then goes to the Olympics and makes it again. So honestly, it is Asher's vault is one to be able to see. We'll see what he puts up today, but that's definitely one of the big routines to watch today.
Absolutely. And Riley Luce is another one on vault that has big vault, super clean, awesome to watch, very aesthetically pleasing. Not so sure about our juniors. I don't know so much about the routines, but obviously excited to see what they've got to offer.
I'm gonna give a quick little shout out to Jackson from Gym Tech on P bars. I definitely think that he'll be putting up a big routine. Head coach Matt Henry over there. I know he's been working really hard to get this guy in shape. So I do think we'll see a big routine from him today. Max, a few before this rotation starts up, I do think that a few of my old teammates are listening in. They can hear my voice. I'm getting texts across the board right now. It's giving me a little motivation. It's making me excited. Shane, excited to have you here. I miss you, man. Hope things are going well.
Alrighty, and it looks like they're off. Trying to see some of the ones to highlight here.
So we got Dean Roberts up on high bar right now. Yamawaki. Ooh, nice fault.
I missed it. What did he do?
I think just a cause full, but it was clean. It was nice. He landed right on his right, or stuck it. It was good.
Perfect. Yep, it's exactly what you need. It's like a great finish from Tyler Rockwood on rings. Kind of lived up to everything I said. You know, that clean, consistent routine that you need. So, be able to support that when he needed to.
Honestly, I'm watching. Okay, on floor right now, you have Kan doing the just the triple Russian. I love it when these guys do the triple Russian, the flare elements on floor. I just think it adds such a little pizzazz. It just adds so much. Well, to say the word, to be punny, add a little flair to your floor routine. And it honestly, those are pretty high scoring non-acros as well. So it's really cool to see these guys add them in. We see another double flipping dismount we haven't seen yet. Half in, half out from KN. Great dismount.
Yeah, and the thing that's pretty cool about the half in, half out is it gives you the opportunity to find the ground in the air. So part of that double flipping is just learning your air awareness. So it gives you that split second to see the ground, look for it, and try to nail that landing. Not every landing is like that, so it's great to take advantage of it when you can. So.
Ooh. Oh, we saw a nice double fall from Kieran on vault. Again, breaking that stereotype that a tall gymnast can't be amazing. He is killing it. I might be a little biased because honestly, I'm just a big fan. I think he's gonna go big places.
Alrighty, it looks like we got somebody starting on P bars now.
We have who's up on P bars? We got Chase from Harpeth up on P bars right now. I can't imagine how nerve-wracking it is for these junior guys to be in the middle of an NCAA meet. I mean, if that was me, my junior, my during my JO, I'd be terrified. So honestly, like big shout out to these guys. That's honestly so cool. Really just exciting for them. Plus, just great practice once they get into this big arena. Great dismount from Chase.
Yeah, 100%. That was just something I was going to bring up. Is it's just a great opportunity to be able to kind of put yourself in this atmosphere of collegiate gymnastics, you know? So, I mean, once they do go to there, I mean, most of these, like you said, most of these seniors are going to be going to these college teams next year. So it gives them a good opportunity to get a feel for it, the noise, the energy, and how to handle it all.
I hope a few of them, if they haven't committed yet, are really doing their best to talk to some of these coaches, really get some face-to-face time, and really show them what they're made of. Because this is just a wonderful opportunity to really show that. Sorry, just quick shout out. You see on floor, he did that connection, front full, punch double front, some Cooper Kim on floor, just big high flying, double double, massive, small little step, but realistically, big double double, fully open in the air. And he's got the flare elements, you know that I love, right into a handstand.
mats on the floor. Not all athletes use them, but just something to highlight is for some of the athletes, they like to throw those on the floor to reduce some of the impact on landings. You know, it's a long season, like we mentioned, so it's great to have that ability to be able to use them if you'd like. Only thing about it is once the mat is placed on the floor, you're not allowed to remove them. So your whole routine has to be done with them where they're at, and you got to work from there. So being able to work in the non-acro around those mat setups is part of something you have to think about as you're doing a routine construction with your coaches.
So when we talk about those mats as well, it is good to point out that these mats can actually only be used in these typical meets. When you move over towards the that that Olympic stage, when these guys are competing at Winter Cup and things like that, they're actually not allowed to have the mats on the floor, just for FIG rules in general. So you'll really only see that when it comes to the NCAA and junior.
Yeah, that's that. I forgot about that. I didn't realize that was implemented.
So up on P bars right now, you have a guy named William Pierce. Just he's a fun guy. I've been following him on Instagram for a long time. He's been a big promoter of the sport. He's currently competing for the Bandits, which I actually believe is it's a team of smaller and like a SoCal. I don't know if it's SoCal United, but either way, great guy. Honestly, really cool to see him competing today. But just like what Max was saying earlier about the pump, you have the coaches down on their knees, adjusting, the width of the handles on the pommel horse. You see a second ago, you saw the coaches quickly adjusting the width of the P bars as well. So that's one of the challenges that a lot of these coaches and a lot of these athletes have to face, is that even with their teammates, some of these guys have really broad shoulders, some of them are smaller, and so in between each of their routines, they got to quickly go and adjust them, make sure they're all really really tight, because if not, disaster can strike. So they have to be careful. But you'll see them making these quick adjustments right in between.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something you train kind of in the gym as well. As silly as it seems, it's like a small little thing, changing a width or something, but it is something we do practice in the gym because it's important to know when it comes time for the competition, because you don't have all the time in the world. You've got to be able to change the setting quickly, know what your teammate settings are as well. So it's not just knowing your own, it's being able to know everyone else's as well.
I just got a quick correction. So when I was saying William Pierce from SoCal, actually he's from it's a NorCal team. So I just wanted to quickly correct that. Thank you, Abe. Okay. I hope the stream shows Riley Luce up on vault. You know he's gonna be doing a big vault. He's actually one of the best vaulters in the country, I would argue. We've seen him do some pretty massive hand Randy's, which is a handspring in, and then a 2.5 twisting front twist off. So we'll see what kind of vault he pulls up today. Um, I don't know if we were able to see Cameron on rings. It does say evaluation right now, but I'm sure he probably had a great routine.
Does it say that he's already finished his routine, or is he?
Yeah, it does. It says it's on
Ah,
eval. Same
so
with
we did
same with
miss it.
Riley on vault. We missed it.
Gotcha. Okay. All good.
But for those that can see, if you can, watch for Aiden Lee on Pommel Horse right now. It does say he's on air. If you can see it, he is one of the best guys in the NCAA right now on Pommel. Shout out, Cal. Go, Aiden. I'm rooting for you, man. Take home that gold today.
Alrighty. Looks like we got stream back. 12-5 for Cam on ring. So we didn't see it, but my best guess is most likely a fall on the dismount would be the biggest explanation for that. Typically rings, that's where you're going to see the biggest difference in a score. If you see a lower score, is usually the dismount. Because at this level, most of the strength moves that are being done are all in the routine for a reason, and they can usually do them pretty confidently. So it's rare to see a lot of points off on that.
So there's a newcomer on Stanford high bar right now, Reese.
There's Jesse. A little bit over rotation on that dismount. Easy to do when you're in a competition. You know, your adrenaline's running. You just want to get that dismount to your feet, and sometimes you just overdo it a little bit. So easy mistake to make, but overall a great routine from him.
So, Max, talk to me what it's like to have a. I mean, you have two incredible coaches over at Ohio. You have Rustam and Suarez. Both of the, I believe both of them are Olympians, correct?
Correct. Yep. Rustam actually won the Olympics on parallel bars in 1996.
Wait, I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, so he's Olympic gold medalist, and I'm not so sure on Kaz's like all of his accolades, but I just know that he is the like greatest Cuban gymnast of all time, and
I love that.
so, but I mean, Kaz is all high energy, you know, super fun to be around, constantly making jokes in the gym, messing around with you. But incredible coaching staff, very supportive, and Jamie Henderson is my personal coach. He's an OU graduate. I don't remember the year actually, but he's an OU graduate of I think an OU team that won 3 or 4 NCAA's in a row.
In a row. That was that regime right before
Yep.
Stanford took over. Yeah, Oklahoma did have that on lock. I do want to quickly shout out. We have Taylor Burkhart, the co-captain of the Stanford team right now. Massive double laid out, stuck on floor. This is going to be a big routine. I encourage everyone to watch this one. Double full, double front, stuck again. Can he do the golden sombrero? Let's see. Okay, he's making his way there. 3 sticks.
Yep. And it looks like he's entering into a flare pattern now. And he does it really
Oh,
well.
he has the beautiful flare pattern as well. He does this both on floor and on pommel horse. And when you have a guy like this who's been competing for Stanford for well, this is 4th year now, you know, with the energy that he brings, the experience that he brings being a captain, he's really one of the leaders right now, making sure that this team comes home potentially with their 6th national championship of the yeah, there. I mean, we'll see if they can do it. Double stuck this. Can you do a golden sombrero?
Wow,
No,
I believe he just did. I think he just
he just
snuck every
did.
pass in the routine. That
That was
I mean,
nuts.
I think that routine won't be rivaled. That may have been the winner today.
I think that's easily going to be the winner today. He might have just topped Cameron's 14.6 on floor. That was crazy.
Yeah, that is very possible. You know, execution beats difficulty. You know, it's important to have, especially when the difficulty is already high.
I'm gonna call that. I'm gonna say that's gonna get a 15-1. We'll see where I'm at, but I'm thinking it might.
Alrighty. One of our guys on Ohio State just went, Christian Gerhowski. We saw him earlier on high bar. Not one of our stronger guys on rings, but is extremely clean. Can put up a big score every single time. You know, he's just extremely consistent and clean. There's really not much for the judges to ever take off on his routine.
Yeah, you'll see the coaches over here, you know, hitting the rings or grabbing them with the crutch. They'll use all these different tools to just grab them because they're swinging all over when the guys do the dismount, just to keep them from swinging around, so the next guy up can grab a pair of still rings as the event is called. They'll also use it to be able to help with some of the strength elements, just to be able to hold them up every once in a while. So those crutches are pretty versatile. You'll see them in pretty much every single both junior and NCAA gym. No, I've been whacked by my fair share. So I'm still not. Oh, 14.35. I was way off. We got a 14.35. Cameron still has the lead on floor. I will say, I do think that might have deserved a little bit higher than a 14.35. He did stick every single pass.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I'm trying to figure out where they may have gotten deduction. Probably just they can take deduction on chest being down on landings, and I think he may have had a little bit of that throughout the routine.
He does.
So, and it's unfortunate because they can take a 3 on that every single time. So and it's something that actually just implemented a little while ago, because pretty much the entire Japanese team at the Olympics would stick every pass, but they would do it with chest down. It was their cheat code. So they made a change so that you couldn't do that anymore.
That is true. You would always see you'd see the reigning king Kohei Uchimura. He would have his signature landing. You guys can't see me right now, but I am standing up and I'm putting my arms in front of me. But he did. You're totally right. He would put his chest down. Even though I think the dismount did look beautiful, I can see why they made that change because you do wanna have the gymnast landing upright. So yeah, I don't know. I might be a little salty on that one, but I guess that change makes sense.
Looks like we've got Justin on rings now. Pretty much just a ball of muscle. You know, he's super strong. I love
I love
watching his
that, a
rings.
ball of muscle. That's
Yeah.
a great way to describe someone.
Looks like the routine's paused right now, but all right, there we go. That's a little
Even
combo
that
you'll see.
handstand.
Yeah, the handstand's amazing, and that little combo of double flipping front flips that you saw is like one of the most common things you're going to see in a rings routine. You're required to do swinging elements, and that's just one of the easiest ones to do without deduction. So
Oh, that was such a good dismount. I like that double A, and he stuck it.
yeah, he's actually currently working triple back, and is trying to do it at one of these next competitions. Been getting better week by week, so excited to see him try to put that in the routine.
The amount of endurance it takes to be able to do a triple back at the end of a rings routine, I would argue, is actually a little bit harder than doing it at the end of a high bar routine because the ability to keep that grip strength at the end. So honestly, big shout out to anybody who does a triple back at the end of the rings routine.
Yeah, 100%. I would have to agree. I mean, I've tried. I don't do rings typically, but I've tried the triples off the rings, and it's tough as it is by itself. So seeing someone be able to do it at the end of the set is extremely impressive. And doing it on high bar, for me at least, is just, you know, you rely on your swing and the tap, and it kind of carries you through. So that's the biggest differences.
Max, I got some good news for you, man. Ohio is leading after rotation 4. We got a 214.05 for Ohio State, 213.3 for Stanford, and a 206.65 for Cal. That is, wow, 3 rotations in a row. Ohio State has been leading. How does that make you feel?
Oh, I mean, I couldn't be happier myself, you know, seeing your team ahead of the reigning national champions, but they are tightening that gap. I mean, last rotation, I think they were a little over a point behind us, but they're closing that gap fast. So we just need to kind of stay on the front foot, keep attacking. So
I mean, honestly, with you guys leading right now, this is impressive, especially with that underscored floor routine. Sorry, not the underscore floor routine. Yeah. What am I saying? Either way, it is exciting to have you guys leading right now.
Absolutely.
Ooh, I do see. Okay, so some of the top scores from this rotation, we did have a 14.35 from Aiden Lee. Love that. Good job, man. Go Cal. Go Bears. Sorry, I'm not allowed to be biased on this stream, but I'm definitely going to be biased.
You gotta love your alma mater. Gotta show some love.
You have to.
Yeah.
Especially when you got some of these guys putting up some of the best routines in the country.
Yep. No shame in being proud for them. So.
All right, so up next, we're going to have one of the senior rotations starting up on floor. Stanford up on pommel horse. Cal on rings. One of the routines to watch out for on Cal on rings, you're going to see Theo. Definitely want to see that. And then you have Jackson Mitchell. Jackson Mitchell is one of the strongest kids I've seen in a while up on Cal, so definitely want to watch out for him on rings. On vault, you do have Ohio State. I'm assuming we're also going to have to watch out for Cameron on vault as well, Max.
Of course, he's going to be throwing that front handspring 2.5, same as Riley Luce.
He has a Randy on vault.
He does. He upgraded this preseason, so yeah, I'm excited to see.
I'm excited to see that. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Yep, it's very pretty to watch.
And Team USA, the Stanford guys plus Riley Luce on parallel bars, and you have the second senior rotation on horizontal bar. That's going to be a fun rotation to watch. We got some high flying events. I would argue one of the other routines to really look out for is going to be Asher Hong on parallel bars. has one of the highest starts on this event. You'll also have Riley Luce on this event too. I definitely think those are two big routines to watch out for. And then two of the other routines I would also argue would be Taylor Burkhart on pommel horse. You guys did see earlier his flare skills on floor. He does the same thing on pommel horse, but it's even cooler because it's on pommel horse. He'll go up and down. I believe it's a Busanari, but it might be another one that he's doing. And then also David Shama. I could be pronouncing that incorrectly. Shama. I've just seen his pommel horse, and it's just incredible to watch. So definitely want to watch out for some of these routines that are happening.
Yeah, something I just like to kind of highlight real quick is you'll see that Tomo Hiro on rings is actually a former Ohio State alum. So he did his 4 years here at Ohio State, and he went to Cal to go do his graduate program. So he moved over there. He's from California, so it was like a great kind of decision and switch for him. But super cool. And just something you're starting to see a lot more in the Big Ten and NCAA is athletes that kind of trade between different schools. And it's something that you have the ability to do now, which is really cool. So you've seen a lot of, maybe not so much in gymnastics, but you've seen a lot of different football players trade between schools. And it's becoming more common now. So it's just really cool to see that transfer portal in action.
Well, one of those big ones that are happening right now, I mean, you saw from Illinois, you had he is now at Illinois, Sam Phillips, who was previously at Nebraska, I believe.
Correct. And Sam's a huge point scorer. So for Illinois to be able to score somebody like that was huge.
Yeah, that is really big. You had mentioned Toma from transferring over to Cal. He actually did a quick a pre-meet interview with him, so he gave me some insights into his thought process. So I had asked him, how has the Cal program evolved since you joined, and he just said, approaching gymnastics with tenacious communication and efficient strategies has led me to be confident, but also realize that the small details I couldn't appreciate. So honestly, wonderful response from Tomo. And then his best pre-meet playlist song was "Hate It or Love It" by G Unit. Never heard it, but definitely gonna listen to it right after this.
I'm sure I've heard it at the gym at some point.
I love that.
Looks like
we getting up.
I believe they're going already. I think High Bar just had a fall though. I think that's why I was confused for a moment.
You see Theo up on rings, strong guy. Sorry. We got those German giants again.
Oh, and that's an upgraded vault from what he's been working in the gym. So I'm super excited to see that. That's awesome. Jacob Harmon, he usually does Yurchenko double full, and it looks like he upgraded to the Yurchenko 2.5 for this weekend, and he did it awesome.
I did see that. That was a really, really nice vault. And in the background, I don't know if you guys were watching, but Theo did do a beautiful lay half in, half out off rings, landed that really well, hyped up the team. Great to see that for Cal. It's cool to see some of these big vaults that are happening right now, especially from Ohio State, but in the not preseason, but at the beginning of the season, right? These guys typically want to upgrade towards the end of the season. So you're going to see a lot of smaller stuff on vault because that is a high flying event. It's one that a lot of people do get injured on. So seeing these upgrades early on, big shout out to these guys. I'm excited. I really, really hope that we'll get to see some of these triples as well. I want to see some more in the NCAA.
There's that Busanari you were talking about on the pommel horse.
Yeah, but it looks like he's just going round and round. You see that?
Yeah, he did do an extra, which is technically, I believe, is allowed. Mostly it was probably just an issue for him in the balance. So he just chose to do another loop around and come down on the second time around where he felt that his center of balance was a little more evenly distributed.
But again, that's where that being a senior, getting that confidence and getting that experience of being on, a stage like this where he can get up, make a mistake on the pommel routine, and still make it look effortless and finish up his routine. So really that's probably why he's the captain of this team this year. And so big shout out to Taylor. The great way to save that routine. So it's like up on rings. We do have Mateo from Cal. Then on high bar, I believe it's Jackson from Gym Tech. Again, shout out Knoxville, Tennessee. Love to see it. Anything I can do to shout out my hometown, I definitely will. But Gym Tech is one of those big gyms that are growing, just like Evo. You have a lot of these guys that are coming out that are going to be part of the NCAA. Big double-double dismount. Great to see from a junior. But sorry, we'll jump back over to rings real quickly. Mateo, finish up that last back giant.
Great double-double.
Oh, that was a good double-double. Sorry, my stream was a little behind yours.
I'm trying to see. It's a little far. It looks like Christian on vault right now. He does a 2.5.
Ooh, okay. I'm excited to see this one. Ooh,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very well done. Small step forward.
That was good entry as well. He kept his legs tightened together. They were glued together on that entry, so he definitely didn't get that deduction there. That's one place that a lot of guys tend to get deduction, especially on vault, is that entry for a Kazumatsu or a Sukahara. They will end up splitting their legs and getting that 3 to 5-10 dismount. Really cool to see he kept his legs glued together. Sorry, in the background, I just want to point out that we do have a flare sequence going. This is incredibly difficult to do. So when you have these guys who are able to do it is really, really cool. Actually, this one is Taylor Burkhart. I apologize. The one prior to the one we were watching earlier, that was Kayan on Pommel. Wait, Max, did you see the dismount from Taylor on Pommel horse? I believe his coach was Alexei Artemov, so that, or maybe he might mimic that. But either way, it does dismount reminds me of Alexei every single time I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not familiar with Alexei myself, but I'm sure he. Or wait, Artemov, you said, right? Artemov?
Yeah, Artemov. Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, I have seen plenty of videos. No, he is one of the best horse guys the U.S. has ever produced.
Yeah,
so. Sorry, I missed the last name. I think it might have broken up a little bit.
All good.
There was that from Handspring Randy on vault from Cameron.
Ooh. Whoa! That was a big vault. Sorry, again, my stream is... I'm going to refresh the screen because it looks like my stream is a little bit behind yours. Yeah, putting up a handspring Randy on vault is incredibly difficult. I mean, that's equivalent to a back triple twist, but just in the way that entry comes out, the value of the vault itself. And that is, again, one of the hardest vaults to be able to do in the code. Seeing that in the NCAA, love it. I mean, we're getting to... I mean, these guys are Olympic caliber. So it is just that's one of the unique things I would argue about the NCAA gymnastics versus a lot of other sports in the NCAA is that, you know, like when you think about professional basketball, professional football, those sports, I mean, you move into the professional field after you finish up the NCAA, but prior to, you know, like when you think about NCAA men's, these guys are competing at the international level. They're competing at the Olympic level. So the way that they train, their regiments, their diets, their everything all together is just there. So it is really, really cool to see these high flying events.
Yeah, mentioning you actually brought up the diets, which I think is a kind of cool point. Something that we have so many resources on, like within the athletic community at Ohio State and every university. I just know because, I mean, that's just been such an increase. It's such an important part of athletics. But being able to know how to fuel yourself pre-meet and throughout the meet. You know, you've got guys doing 6 events, which is a lot of work. And you want to make sure that you're going to be able to sustain your body all the way through. So it's finding those right things to fuel yourself with so that you're ready to go for when the time comes.
And having those resources, especially when you're competing as an athlete like this, I mean, you're working hard every single day in school. You're getting in the gym 4 or 5 hours. You're also getting rehab done. So that diet, those things are so important. So having those resources is so beneficial. Okay. I do see on P-bars. Oh, we got Asher up on P-bars. This is one of the big flying ones I was talking about. We did a Bobzar. It looks like on rings right now we have Tomihoro.
Tomihiro, yeah. We just call him Tomo.
Tomo.
Yep.
Oh, that's one we were talking about earlier. Tomo. Yes,
Yep.
the guy from Ohio.
Correct. I think he's from Cal. He went to Ohio State, though. Correct.
Yeah, he said when in his pregame interview with me, he said he's from San Diego. Yeah.
Looks like a pretty solid routine from him so far. A little bit of swaying in the handstand. One of the more difficult things to be able to control, but it looks like he managed to do that very well. And solid dismount from him as well.
He had told me, so because we're talking about rings, I'd asked him what his favorite athletes were. He had said Kohei Uchimura, of course, the king of gymnastics, but he mentioned Petronius. So Petronius, I believe, was a Greek gymnast. Right. Amazing on rings. I mean, one of the strongest men to ever take up that mantle. So it makes sense on that being his one of the people he looks up to. I don't know if you guys just saw that triple pike off of high bar. That was massive. Wait, who was that? Who just did a triple pike off of high? That was Evan Hymanson. Ah, okay. That is a former, I believe, Illinois athlete. Trained at Stanford for a little bit and is now competing for the Bandits, the NorCal team. Triple pike off of high bar. That's not Donnell's scale. Donnell has the triple pike off of rings.
Correct. The Wittenberg is the triple pike off rings.
Do you know if the one off high bar is named yet?
What is the name of that?
If it was probably a good minute ago, right? It wasn't recent.
It's been a while. I don't think too long, but I don't remember exactly. I know there's a triple back with a full twisting, like dismount on high bar, and that's the bell.
That's the bell. That's right.
Same guy that created that double back on parallel bars when you catch right in between the bars again. But I do not remember the name of the guy that did the triple pike first.
No, it's okay. Okay, we do have David Shima up on Pommel right now. Just finished off with a great Pommel horse routine. Okay, I actually have a few corrections to make in the past commentary that I've made. I'm looking at the YouTube comments right now. So one, on Pommel horse, it was not Alexei Artemov, it was Sasha Artemov, the one that I was saying Taylor had mimicked his dismount for. Thank you, Courtney, for that one. Second, would be the triple pike it's called a Fardan. So that's the name of it. Absolutely. And then Evan Hymanson, the one who did the triple pike off of high bar, he is actually a former Nebraska athlete, not a former Illinois athlete. Thank you so much, Courtney. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for the feedback. Happy to always be learning some things.
Nah.
Ooh, that looked like a rough fall on floor in the warm-up.
Let's see. Okay. Whoa, Max, even better news. Okay.
All right, yeah. Ohio State has pulled ahead quite a bit now.
With a 3-point lead. That's actually a really big lead going into rotation 6. We'll see if Stanford can even patch that up. But Ohio leading with a 271.2, Stanford with a 268.1, and Cal with a 258.15.
Right, absolutely. And that was kind of what I was talking about before with vault being a very high scoring event. You have 4 of the guys that are in our lineup all putting up scores that are 14 and above. So that's absolutely huge and what you want to see from a vault lineup. I'm trying to figure out, it looks like rings or pommel horse that Stanford just did. You just start to see a little bit of the drop off because of the 13s. But 13s are what you are looking for on the typical horse routine. Obviously, specialists are going to be putting up routines that are higher than that. But from your all-around guys that are trying to put up scores all over the place, 13s, mid-13s are great scores for horse.
No, okay. I mean, you're right. Okay, with that gap itself, this is crazy to see because with a 3-point gap, Ohio is going to be moving into parallel bars, which is a lower scoring event on the typical side. But then you have Stanford moving to rings, which for the regular team, rings is typically a lower scoring event. But Stanford has a stacked lineup right now. Dude, these guys are ridiculously strong. So the likelihood that they're going to be able to make up that gap, I would argue is probably pretty high. So I think this is going to be a really, really tight race towards the end. I'm excited to see it. And then we do have Cal moving into vault right after this rotation. And then you have the senior teams going from high bar to floor and floor to pommel. Sorry, that was a little bit confusing. I was kind of just all over the place, but yeah, I think moving into the sixth rotation, we have a lot of big gymnastics coming up. I'm pumped to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking into some of the like score predictions, kind of. We're sitting at that 271 right now, and earlier we had kind of talked about breaking that 320 threshold, and right now it looks like all Ohio State needs to do that today is a 12-2 average, which is quite low actually. So we have a very strong like PBAR lineup typically, and they've looked really solid throughout this whole year so far. So I'm happy to see them probably put up some strong 13s for sure. So I think that 320 threshold is absolutely doable for Ohio State and Stanford right now.
You think that they'll be able to top Oklahoma? I mean, they did come out with a 330 at the beginning of today, and Illinois with a 325. So I do think it'll be interesting to see if Stanford and Ohio can beat Oklahoma today.
Yeah, I think it's just difficult to kind of find those comparisons. Different judging and everything. Every judging panel has a different kind of view on things, and they keep it pretty consistent how they judge each athlete at a single meet. So, obviously things can't be too far off, otherwise you get some discrepancies between the judging. But I think they'll come close, but I'm not sure that 330 is going to be possible for either team today. I think Oklahoma may take this week for sure.
I mean, but you have seen that over the past couple seasons, right? Oklahoma tends to be really, really strong at the beginning of the season, and then Stanford just comes in and has dominated over the past 5 seasons at the NCAAs and a few meets towards the end of that season. But Oklahoma has always had a really good start. Mark Williams does a wonderful job of just being consistent as heck. So, that's just a strong start you do see from that team in general. So nothing new there.
Yeah. Oklahoma is one of those teams that's just very strong all the way throughout the season, like you said. They have the difficulty, they have the execution. They're known for being just a really hardworking team. So I think they have a lot to prove this season. So honestly, it's really exciting to see, because there's every team, I swear, in the NCAA and Big Ten right now has just so much potential this year. I think it's going to be really interesting to see kind of how things all turn out.
I mean, we haven't even mentioned Michigan yet. Michigan with the
Right.
2 Olympians, Paul Judah and Fred Richards, and that's going to be a massive team as well.
Right, exactly. They've got those wild cards that they haven't really shown yet. And it's kind of similar to the Stanford scenario where they've got those different lineups of teams and they're ready to throw in all the big guys when the time comes.
Because you will see some of these Olympians, these guys that are competing at these international meets, they'll be off, they'll be competing out, at these international comps throughout the season. So these other guys will have the ability to make lineup and really showcase their talent. So we will see some fluctuation with these team scores throughout the season. But again, that's the best part about NCAA men's gymnastics, is the opportunity that this provides. It looks like a triple back off of rings from Stanford. It's okay. It's still a massive dismount. I take it back, Max. I don't know if Stanford's going to be able to close in that gap, especially with that dismount on rings. I can see the excitement.
Yeah, it's definitely very cool to see. I try not to be too biased over it right now, but obviously exciting to see your own team doing amazing.
I mean, if we're really throwing out some stats there, if Ohio does beat Stanford today, this will be the first meet that they have lost in 5 years. They have been undefeated.
Wow.
Which will actually be insane. They have not lost a single meet. So if they are able to do it, that will actually be kind of wild. I don't know if you guys were able to see that Pommel dismount where he floated right up to handstand, 2 touches on both sides, pirouette, dismount. Honestly, those just look so cool. I'm a big stickler for those flare dismounts. I just think the amount of artistry and the amount of technical difficulty that goes into being able to make it look effortless is it takes so much practice and repetition. What do we have up on floor right now? I believe is Chase from Harpeth. And then I think Cal is up on vault right now. We have Theo, who just went. We weren't even able to see that. Oh, hope it was a good one. I believe it was. I believe in him. And then on rings, you do have Arun. Someone corrected me earlier. Arun is a junior on Stanford's team right now. So cool to see. Whoa, that was a beautiful Maltese.
It looks like a lower score for Kai on high bar, which is a little bizarre. I'm pretty sure he's a national champion on high bar. So just definitely a little different to see a lower scoring. Probably a misreleased is my best guess.
Yeah, he was the top recruit for this upcoming season, right? I think he had won nationals prior to.
Correct. He has a lot to prove in this upcoming 4 years at Stanford. I think give him time, over these next year and a half to really settle in and understand the college environment, and he's going to soar. I think
you got to give him some time to cook.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's 100% a future Olympian. He's developed himself for so long. So
on that side note, when we did see the vault a second ago, we did see a big 2.5 from Carter Kim from California. Love to see it. I know Cal has been stacking up their vault lineup recently, so I'm excited to see some of these. What was before a 5.2 vault, but now a 4.8, but still high flying, big skills. Definitely need those to be competitive within this this NCAA season. Wonder if they'll switch it over to P bars so you can see Ohio.
You look at high bar now, you actually see what Asad was talking about earlier, is that visualization before the routine. You can see him going through those motions, feeling it all out before he puts his arm up to do the routine. So it's a great little practice between the time that you are getting ready and time that you go. So
I believe we just saw another 2.5 from Cal on vault, this time from Kalen Curry. He is a senior this year. Again, so excited to see Cal putting up these big these big vaults. So up on high bar right now. Who are we seeing? Oh, is that Asher?
It looks like Asher, yes. This is going to be a big routine.
That will be a big routine.
Although out of all of his events, I would say that high bar is something that, at least in his past, he struggled with the most. But, I mean, you put the time in on anything and you get what you put in. So he's made a lot of improvement on this event and has a lot to show here.
It's going to be really high flying. I do hope that they change the camera angle so people can see it.
Yeah.
I hope he puts in some of these Colemans and Kovacs as well.
Yeah, and hopefully he catches with the grips and not the bottoms of his grips.
That was a crazy meet for those watching. Asher, during one of his big competitions last year, he did, if you guys are looking in the top left corner, you'll see him on high bar right now, actually doing that hiked Kovacs, but he had, instead of catching with his hands, he had caught with the bottoms of his grips and then finished up a giant, jumped with his wrists and caught the high bar again. Honestly, arguably one of the most badass things I think I've seen in NCAA gymnastics, pardon my language. But it was really, really cool. So love to see that from Asher.
I did not get to see his dismount, but I can assume from the rest of the routine, I'm sure he landed well.
He did the pike Kovacs and he did a Coleman, right? Is that what we saw?
Correct. So his pike Kovacs is actually new this year. Hard to find deduction on that skill. So again, that's one of those things you have to consider when trying to put upgrades into the routine, is knowing how much you're able to, knowing that the skill you're doing, how much you're going to lose on it when you compete it. So if you can do that harder skill with no deduction, it's 100% worth it. But sometimes finding an alternative when you're not as clean on a certain skill is the smarter move, so that you lose less tense throughout the routine. And I think
Oh, that
that's
makes
something.
sense.
I think that's something Asher's capitalized on now, is finding those like strengths where he can do the difficulty or do the difficult skill while also still being clean on it.
It's always the hardest part, right? Like, when you wanna do these big, massive
Right.
skills, you can do them without putting it in a routine. But the second you put it in a routine, it just makes it 10 times harder. You gotta do that repetition, train so much more to make it perfect, make it look effortless, and that's what you see all these guys do.
Exactly. It's finding that healthy balance.
Oh, so up on rings, you're also going to see, okay, this kid from Stanford, Mark, one of the strongest kids I have ever seen compete on rings. Definitely a routine to watch in the corner over here.
Wow, the control. Yeah, that's
Do you
incredible.
see that? He makes it look effortless.
Wow, that invert was beautiful.
Hmm. So you have several of the Stanford guys now doing invert crosses in their rings routine. That's one of the hardest, not releases, sorry, one of the hardest strength moves on rings to be able to do. One, because it does get deducted very easily. You have to be flat, and you'll notice sometimes these guys will tilt their head as well in their inverted cross to make sure that they're hitting that lowest position possible. Wow, putting a Maltese as the second to last skill. That's a strong kid.
Huh.
I take that back. He just did a straight planche with the second to
Yeah,
last
I
skill.
was gonna say. I mean, he just wow, the routine that just keeps on giving.
It's a great way to put it. It did just keep on giving.
Right? And it looks like Caden finished up on P bars. Great score. He's another one of our athletes. Like I said before, he's the one that he's a P bar high bar specialist right now. And he has to wait that whole meet because we started on high bar, but he got up and did his job.
It looks like Ohio State did, honestly, they had a great rotation on P bars. They had two 13.7s.
Who was the second 13.7?
We had Drake 13.7 and then Caden with a
Awesome.
13.75. And then
Yeah, Drake's
Jesse
been
12.9, 12, and then Tyler 12.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, Drake's been a rock on our team. He's consistent and sets people up before they go to do what they need to do.
So it looks like, so we're rounding out this sixth rotation right now. We have so last you have Kieran up on high bar. You have David up going up on rings, David Shema from Stanford. And then you have one senior left on Pommel, Wyatt from, I apologize, I'm not able to see the gym he's from, but Wyatt, one of the senior guys on that team. So those are the three last routines to watch out for. Hey Max, this meet went by pretty quick.
It did, it's always, it always does when you're just like you've got so many guys going at one time. It's awesome to watch so many people. Sometimes it's a little too much, but try to direct your attention to some of the highlights and all the awesome gymnastics that's being done.
No, I love it. Honestly, for the people watching out there, like you guys have seen some really cool gymnastics today. You're seeing some of the best gymnasts in the country making their debuts. Getting the spotlight and just throwing some incredible skills. So this is definitely a treat. Oh, Max, wait, Garen just did the Ginger like you were talking about earlier. One of those skills you don't see as a big thing in men's gymnastics, but now because it's been upgraded, you have started to see it a little bit more and more. Just as he just did. A half and half out dismount from Karen. He finished up nice. And on rings, you do have David. I love it. I love it when Yamawakis just float right to handstand. I could never do that, but it looks so beautiful.
They make it look easy for sure. Yep.
That was a clean dismount.
Yeah, a half is just a beautiful dismount to watch.
Mm.
Not worth as much as the double, but is easier to stick. So that's one of those, finding that healthy balance. If you can do the clean half, stick it every time, it's worth it more than to do the double that's worth an extra tenth. Technically 2/10 with the dismount rule.
Max, I think Ohio State did it.
I think we have some good
Oh
news for
my
me at least
God.
today.
They just broke a 5-year streak of Stanford winning. I mean, we do have to admit, Stanford does have like 5 guys competing for Team USA right now that are currently eligible to compete, but still, they chose to make that lineup and they took the L today.
Yep. I mean, it's super exciting to see, always, like to see an underdog be able to take down a big team like that, even if it's not their top guys. I think it's a good boost. It's a good boost of confidence for the team, even if it isn't those top guys. I think it's just showing that anybody can be beat.
No, I do think that Ohio State's about to go home super, super happy, and I am pumped for you guys. I think this is a great start to the season. This is definitely going to give you guys so much more momentum, and we're probably going to see Ohio State come out with a banger the next meet that they have showing out because they definitely want to stay on top.
Absolutely. It should be interesting. We're up against OU next, so it'll be two, I guess, of the higher scoring teams in the Big Ten NCAA right now. So, Oklahoma put up that 330, which is crazy to believe that that's another 6 points higher than what we did today. So
that is true. I know the meet's coming to a close, but for all those viewing, thank you so much. You guys have been so much fun. We've been getting comments here on the YouTube live. My texts have been I've been seeing these texts pop up from all my buddies listening in. So you guys have made this so much fun to do. Max, it has been so much fun commentating with you as well. I've really enjoyed this meet today.
yeah, absolutely. It's been a pleasure. It's my first time doing this, so it's obviously a cool experience, give that inside view. But definitely very fun and got to see a lot of awesome gymnastics today.
So it looks like I was a little bit wrong again. USA Gymnastics official has come at me with a correction. So I would like to correct myself. Looks like Stanford has not been undefeated for 5 years. I was wrong. I think I was just excited. Looks like Oklahoma did beat Stanford back in 2022. I'm assuming it was a meet just like this. So small correction there. But I mean, then again, if 2022 was the last time Stanford was beat, that is a 3-year win streak, which is still pretty impressive either way.
Right. Absolutely. Hopefully the beginning to toppling an empire, whatever team it may be.
No, I like the sound of that. That's the motivation that you guys need going into the rest of the season. I can't believe it was done. That went by so quick.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
Wait, Matt, I'm gonna let you read it off. You go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got our top team today is Ohio State. Go Ohio, OH. But, Stanford close behind. I think with some of their top guys in, it definitely would have been a lot closer. And Cal with the 310.2. Some of the highlights from the events, point out the Taylor Burkhart and Mark on rings. Those were some strong scores there. Mark was really awesome to watch as well. And then Carter Kim with a great vault. And
I was gonna say the two on vault from Cal. You got 13 seconds right there.
Carter and I'm not sure how to say it, Kaylin. Yeah, and a strong finish from Ohio State on P-bars. And that's another one of our freshmen, Tyler Virtius. So we've got 3 freshmen competing this year. It's awesome to see. So being able to put some strong scores up. So a great finish to the meet, and obviously I'm excited. So thank you guys all for watching and tuning in to Virtius. And
no, this is just a great meet in general. I do want to point out, I think some of the average scores that we were seeing were mid 13s just across the board. So it looks like that's kind of what everyone, for the people watching, you want to be above that 13.5 range. That's when you're looking towards getting towards the leaderboard. That's when you're looking towards being, the top guy on that event. So you're capping off on horizontal bar with Riley Lewis with a 13.5, Asher Hong with a 13.3. I know his routine was kind of in the corner, but still a 13.3 is not a bad finish. But again, parallel bars with Ohio State, you got two 13.7s. Those are going to be some of the event winners of this of today. On vault, I will argue that a 13.7 is a little bit on the lower end, even with the scorer change. So having that, you definitely want to be in that 14 range. And then, yeah, on rings, you do have Taylor with a 13.65 and Mark with a 14.0. So like, that's kind of one thing to look at when you guys are looking at these scores now, especially with the change. You want to be a little bit higher than the 13.5. That's when you know that the routine is good, and it is probably going to be in that top range.
Yeah. Well, I think that is all for today, and a great competition. Very fun to watch. And I had a great time commentating with you, Asad. So I think with that,
yeah, me too, Max. It was fun. Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before you log, I just want to point out some of the. Okay, so it looks like Cameron from Ohio, he took the floor title today with a 14.6. I will say that the golden sombrero that Taylor put up was pretty impressive, but Cameron did take it today.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where you see that difference in the difficulty. You know, Cameron's got that 5.8 start and Taylor with a 5.3. So, you know, it's a big difference in a start value. It's 5 whole tenths. So, you know, it's a big difference in being able to execute. And the thing is, with Taylor's routine being as perfect as it was, Cam's was still extremely strong, and his landings were also amazing. So, you know, with the difficulty and execution put together, it's what you have to push for now. So.
It is. I do agree with that, right? Like, you know, even if your difficulty is that high, if your execution is that high, when you have the difficulty being incredible, you are going to take that lead. Big shout out to my boy Aiden Lee taking the lead on Pommel. I love to see it. Cal taking home an event title. That makes me very, very happy.
Absolutely. And that tie, that Parker Thaxton that I was telling you guys to take an eye to, tied that, but it looks like the execution on Aiden's was just slightly stronger. So, you know, that's where it takes it. So.
Oh, I apologize. It was a tie. I didn't even see that. Parker,
no, I mean,
thank you for pointing that. Thank you for pointing that out. I did not see that. Thank you.
No. Not trying to embarrass you at all.
I did not see that was a tie. What year is Parker Thaxton?
Parker is a junior. He's my year.
Okay, cool. Okay. We got, technically 3 Stanford gymnasts taking the top 4 guys on rings today. You got Asher with 14.5, Riley with his, I believe it's a sponsored team, the Bonk Breakers, 14.2, and then Mark with a 14.0. Definitely some really, really high scoring rings.
Yeah, Stanford has a very stacked rings lineup, and it's definitely going to be one to be rivaled this year for sure. And it looks like on vault, Ohio State, really strong rotation for them. Cameron Nelson taking the gold. That front handspring, Randy, that high difficulty, great execution. It's the combo you need.
Jacob wow, Cameron he took home 2 event titles today, both floor and vault. That's pretty impressive.
Very big, yeah. I think that'll be.
And Jacob Harmon. What year is Jacob?
Jacob's my year as well. He's a junior. We have a big junior class. It's 7 guys.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
So definitely a big impact on the team from our junior class. So parallel bars is one of those that you're going to see a big, you're going to see a lot of neck and neck between different teams. You know, Michigan is one of those teams that has a lot of really, really strong parallel bar guys. But, you know, you're going to see other teams have their strongest P-bar guy always go up. So I think there's going to be a lot of competitiveness in this event. You know, you'll see like later on in the season, the Big Ten's NCAAs. I think there's going to be some close scores.
What I do like about P-bars now is if over the last quad, one thing I did notice was that a lot of the routines looked kind of copy and paste. And in this new quad, they're definitely changing up their routines. They're definitely changing up, especially with the 8 skills. These guys are throwing in some really, really high flying skills. We did see the bell today. We saw a couple Bobzars. And we saw a couple of these front up rise skills as well. So those, I think seeing a little bit of change when it comes to P-bars in general is one thing I'm really looking forward to for this next quad.
And to finish it up on high bar, again, another Ohio State win. We'd love to see it. Caden Spencer, I won it by a little bit, but I mean, margin is small, but he still took the win. But that difficulty is just important. Taylor actually has him on difficulty though, which is interesting. But Caden's extraordinarily clean. It's something that he's always had on like P-bars, high bar. And his freshman year, extremely strong on the floor and vault as well. But has had some issues with his knees, but getting healthier every day. So love to see the fight.
If you look at these scores on high bar, they're literally it's 13-8-5, 13-8, 13-7-5. I mean, the difference between the first and fifth place is really just a couple tenths. So
Right.
that's just how tight the scoring is on high bar. Even I mean, look at the difficulty difference as well, right? You have 4.9 to 5.4, but the difference in execution is literally a tenth and a half.
Right. That
Wait, so Ohio took
14-9
home. Sorry, continue.
Sorry, I was just going to say that 14-9 start value on high bar is going to be super common. You'll see it a lot this year. It's my start on high bar, but I just know a lot of the guys on our team have that same start. So really it's going to come down to who can put the releases on the bar every time and how clean you are on the routine. So it'll be interesting. The high bar battle is going to be fun to watch as well this year. It looks like to finish it off, Taylor Burkhart was our all-around winner. Had a great meet today. 83.9. That's a huge score.
It's a massive score.
Yeah, especially with this new code and like the having smaller start values, that's very, very impressive. So Asher right behind him and Rally in third.
Dang.
So I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work with I'm not sure what these S's are, the green S's.
I was wondering the same thing.
But I'm not sure if those are maybe like qualifying things or like maybe are already qualified. But
Yeah.
I'd love to know who qualified now to the next step. So,
Well, I mean, all three of the guys that have S's right now are on the national team. So Jeremy, Riley, and Taylor. So I don't know if that's what that means. SB. I don't know.
could be, but I think Asher's also on that team now.
Yeah, he would be. So
he
I don't know why
would
that
have it
wouldn't
as
be there.
well. So, yeah, but great competition. And
Cool.
there's our final scores. 319.85 from Stanford for second place and 310.2 from Cal for third place. And your winners today, Ohio State University, 323.0. Looks like there was a score correction there. Bumped us up a little bit.
Yeah, I see that smile and that joy on your face, Max.
Absolutely.
I love to see it. That's
Absolutely.
so exciting. This was so much fun commentating, getting to see it from your perspective. And honestly, man, I can't wait to see you get healthy and cheer you on for this season when you get back out there.
Absolutely. I cannot wait. It's going to be a great season and can't wait to support the team. So
Cool.
Great.
Well, for everyone tuning in, thanks so much. And I guess we'll catch you in the next one.
alrighty. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.